I'm back already, YouTube. What do you know? I got nothing better to do. I can get some coffee made. I was just thinking of a story. I worked for a warehousing company. It was a supply for a lot of Zaxby's chains. And, it was an order selector position I went for. Being the hard worker I am, I figured, hey, I'll do well at that. It's the only job I've really failed at. And I'm going to tell you something. One of the reasons I failed was because they had this training program where you had to wear this headset. And it was really goofy. I mean, what I had to do was take 2 hours and go and train with this computer headset. And it had to recognize my voice. I was basically training a device that I wore on my head to understand how goofy I talk, because it's not a standard thing. Everyone has their own little, way they talk. Mine happens to be a Maine, I call it an Appalachian hybrid accent because it's from one end of the Appalachian mountain range to the other, which I went from Maine, now I'm in Tennessee. Two different states, two very different states, same mountain range, but two completely different ways of talking. So now I've got kind of I call it a hybrid, Appalachian hybrid accent. But anyway, to get back to my story, it was pretty funny. Actually, I had to spend 2 hours training this thing to understand my goofy voice, So when I'd go select, pick the orders that I needed, this thing would verify. I'd have to take a scanner and scan where it was, and this thing would tell me where my next item was, and then I would confirm. I'd be talking to this computer system, and I'd have to scan the tag with an RF gun. A job that used to be as simple as reading and verifying your product with your own brain, now I'm training a computer to do it. And I already kind of knew that. It really agitated me. I didn't take it too serious. So I started just, picking orders without it. I just left it in the forklift. The bosses got on to me pretty quick about that. Oh, you need to use this. This is what we do here. It helps, prevent errors and this and that. I had the most errors out of anyone with this headset. Either I talked too goofy for it to understand, or I was really bad at order selecting. Could have been both, but I've never really been that bad at a job in my life. I've always been able to read and write. I just didn't care for the having to use this headset. I'm always sweating, and it's just a pain in the butt. So eventually, I got into combative mode with them, and they pulled me to the office. They said, "Dude, you got to wear it." And the funny thing was, I was such a hard worker, and they had such respect for me that one of the managers said, he said this. He went to this length. He said, "You have to wear it, but it doesn't mean you have to talk to it." He did this little talk to it. So basically what he's saying is that, to protect his job, I needed to have that headset on as the cameras were looking at me. But to him, it didn't mean a piece of garbage whether I used it or not. I find that kind of funny, but that's the way that this country's going. We're training these computer systems to take over for us, and it leaves me to wonder what's going to happen. What's going to happen, when those jobs aren't available? We're not going to have a job market anymore. So I don't know. I'm trying to get used to it. I'm an old dog, and I'm trying to get used to the new ways, and seeing my goofy face on camera all the time. It's not easy. I didn't grow up with cameras, and I really appreciate that time, but now I got to learn to take selfies and stuff more, Got to get over my pride and say, I'm going to take a video out in the middle of the street. Have people, in my head laughing at me because I'm taking a video of myself, and I'm just doing what the globalists want, They want my face for recognition so they can train their systems to zap me when I'm in a car and I'm trying to rip the steering wheel off it because it's, self-driving and I don't want to go where it's taking me, and I'm sitting there trying to, diffuse it and bypass it and all that. It wants to be able to recognize my face, who's in the car. That way the police can be notified and come right to the car and disable it with technology and all this other stuff. Not the world I want, but it's the way we're going. So, I don't know. It's a new world, trying to get into the new ways, so to speak. Anyway, I'm going to drink some coffee. Peace.